It's not about politics, it's about football.
This is a simple game.
We're going to run the ball, and we're going to pass the ball. We just going to play football, really.
How good of a football player are you?
I just get in and try to spin it. That's all.
I just love the game.
It really is the best time of the year.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to It's Just Football. Trevor Sikkema Mike Renner here with you guys to recap what was super wild card weekend. Well, almost. We got one game left, which we're going to talk about, Buccaneers and Cowboys, but we got so much stuff to talk about with you today. Thank you guys so much for joining us live, getting in on the conversations as we're having them here. We're going to talk about what matters most from all of the games that we saw this past weekend on Saturday and Sunday. We're going to refresh the timeline with some of our favorite moments, and then we're going to give you a playoff edition of Drip or Skip. Mike, how are we feeling today, my friend?
Feeling good. You know what I just realized? I was watching that intro. The sheer amount of guys that may look incredibly dated come next fall. You had Baker Mayfield already in a Panthers uniform, already not in a Panthers uniform. You had Matt Stafford, who may retire. You had J.J. Watt in there. You had Lamar Jackson. You had Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Donald was doing a little shimmy, and Aaron Donald had former NFL player in his bio 24 hours ago.
That next fall, there might not be a single guy in that intro on the same team. Might have to do a completely new one, unfortunately. It's a nails intro, too.
It's a crazy league. It's a crazy league. That just means, we just have to update it with a new one. We already got Quinn into the show. We already got his voice in here. We'll get the guys in the production portal here in on the show. Quinn, Eli, Sav, how are we feeling this morning? On a Bengals victory Monday.
Sloppy victory. The other thing I will point out about the intro is the irony is not lost on me. It starts with Bill Belichick saying it's not about politics, it's about football, and then it goes right to Aaron Rodgers.
We love it.
I don't think that was intentional.
Did Ryan do that on purpose? We got to figure it out. We got to figure it out if Ryan did that on purpose.
You can tell that Eli was at the game last night if Eli says one word.
Yeah, my voice is pretty shot.
Eli's wearing the same thing he wore at the game last night. I don't think he even went home.
You know who I'm not sure was at the game last night?
Trent Irwin.
Yeah, freaking Irwin.
About it. Yeah.
Was Trent Irwin at the game?
Yeah, we already had some people in chat saying that our bet didn't hit.
So obviously this was what I said was going to be like the best bet from the weekend. And all we needed was one catch. All we needed was one catch, Mike. Look, this is going to become a therapy session because we need to talk it out here. Mike and I were talking yesterday about our bets. First thing we talked about when we got in here was our bets. All I needed was one catch from Trent Irwin. And I'd have been a rich man.
I had idiotically parlayed it with Brock Purdy getting 3 touchdown passes, which happened. And I did it on a book that doesn't let you cash out early. So I did hedge tinily, but that one hurt. That one would have gotten some money if you hit it.
I've never believed the NFL was more rigged than I did last night. Trent Irwin only needed one catch. Joe Burrow only needed 225 passing yards and the Bengals to win the game. Vegas knows.
Yeah, Vegas knows.
We'll get you back. We'll be back. It's not going to be with Trent Irwin, I tell you, but we're going to get you back. I can already see everybody in the chat obviously talking about those kinds of things. But we're going to dig into not just the Bengals and the Ravens, but all these performances that we saw over Wild Card Weekend. But first, Quinn, do we have a question of the day to start this beautiful show?
Yeah, we sure do. You mentioned the Bengals offense.
If it's about Trent Irwin, I swear to God, I'm going to come in there.
It's not. It is Bengals related, though.
Okay.
Sam Hubbard, obviously, longest fumble return in NFL postseason history. Who has the longest just play in NFL postseason history?
Oh, so it's going to be like a kick return. Was it Hester in the Super Bowl? Desmond Howard in the Super Bowl? One of those.
Desmond Howard played in the Super Bowl?
Desmond Howard had a kick return Super Bowl 31, start of the second half.
I don't even remember that.
Yep.
My mind immediately went to some sort of kick return. Devin Hester's not bad. What about, was it Tracy? No, Tracy Porter was the interception, right? That wasn't a kick return.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was an interception.
I mean, James Harrison had like the same.
Oh, James Harrison.
Was it 99 yards?
I think it was technically 100 because it was on the goal line.
On the goal line.
Because Sam Hubbard's was 98 yards. So James Harrison's would be longer.
Okay.
I think that's probably what I'm going to go with.
I'm trying to think of the kick.
Because if not, then I'm just randomly guessing. Philip, Jack, they're saying Jacoby Jones. Jacoby Jones kickoff return.
How long?
Harris saying it's either.
109. Oh shit. Okay. Well, if it's 109. It's
Oh,
Jones.
Jacoby's was 109. Then I mean it's obviously Jacoby Jones.
That game still was wild.
Somebody in the chat said Trent Hurt win. Just end me, dude. I'm just gonna be hella sad all show.
Yeah, if Jacoby was 108, as Daniel Sauter seems to point out, I don't think Hester's was not that long. I know Howard's was not that long. I'll go Jacoby's.
I think we might just have to go with Jacoby, but we'll save our final answer for the end of the show. We'll have a little bit of time to stew on it, think about it, see if that's false or not. Because I think that James Harrison's obviously a great guess because that play
from scrimmage.
Yeah, that would be a from scrimmage kind of a play. That would.
Because I mean, kick returns they're different. They're different. They don't
count.
They don't count.
They don't count.
You can't start a play in your own end zone. So how do you?
That's true.
How do you compete?
It's true. You can't
play in a different game.
Yeah, that's true. So if we're wrong, we're actually right.
Correct.
I'm going to take a dub on this anyway. Yeah. We possibly can. Let's refresh the timeline for some of our favorite moments that we saw from the weekend. And we start with the Chargers-Jaguars game. We're going to get into what mattered most from all of these games. So we'll dig into the details of it. But Trevor Lawrence took to social media after the game. And he became a meme king. Not only was he the comeback king that night, he became an absolute meme king by referencing an absolute classic. They had us in the first half. I'm not going to lie. Anybody who's seen this video understands the meme reference. And this is basically what he's saying. It's a high school player, and it's a post-game interview, and he's talking about them with the big comeback win, and he says the very famous line, they had us in the first half. I'm not going to lie about it. When Trevor Lawrence throws 4 interceptions in the first half, and they're down 27-0, there's no other words that could be more true. They had him in the first half.
There's never been a more accurate meme. They had the Jags in the first half. 27-0. They had the Jags in the first half. The other thing to notice about that tweet that I noticed right away, don't follow Trevor Lawrence social media, but it's so hard out here for guys that he has to put an extra E on the end of his handle. Trevor Lawrence E. Can't even get his own name.
Maybe it just stands for excellent.
Hard out here. Get that man. Someone trade that man his actual name, please.
Who is sitting on? All right.
Someone's been
squatting on Trevor Lawrence. Who is this?
While we're kind of stalling, did you guys see he also was at Waffle House after the game?
Dude, what king?
That's electric.
Get the Waffle House sandwich, the waffle sandwich.
What a move.
Going around social media, you see that?
I have seen that. I've never seen it. I haven't seen people at Waffle House do it.
Actually eating it?
No.
They probably wouldn't.
So this is Trevor Lawrence. It's just like some guy.
He has 14 followers.
He has 14 followers.
He joined in 2009.
Suck
it. Yeah.
Man.
People are going to start naming their kids random shit just for the social media handles.
So here's a funny story.
Just so that it's not taken.
Here's a funny story. I wanted the Twitter handle @Trevor. I just wanted @Trevor. And somebody obviously already has it.
Yeah.
I went and I found that person who they don't tweet a ton, but they know what they're doing. Because they tweet every now and then and they're semi-active, to keep it, to make sure that Twitter doesn't delete it one day or suspends it or whatever. So they know what they're doing. I found their email. I did some digging. I went full FBI, found this person's email, emailed them, explained to them what I do for a living, how I'm kind of like in the public eye a little bit, how I'm like in sports broadcasting, how I like, would he in any way give up the handle? And he basically responded and told me, well, I had somebody offer me $15,000 last week, and I said no. So if you could do more than that, we can have a conversation. And I went, have a wonderful life, my friend.
Smart. It's just very smart by that guy.
Truly smart.
Squatting.
Beautiful. All right, what's the next one? What do we got next for refresh and timeline? Oh, I referenced it earlier. Is Aaron Donald retired or not? Ooh. You tell me, Mike. You tell me. Read between the lines. Read between the Twitter bios. Is Aaron Donald retired?
So he put, right, do we have a screenshot? I don't know. He put former NFL defensive lineman for the Rams. That's not like a, oops, I put former in the wrong spot sort of thing. That's a, that seems like a, I kind of just like, know I'm going to retire. Wanted to put out a little Easter egg out there. And then quickly deletes it, obviously, when it comes to light. But
the thing is, though,
I think he will retire.
Why would you do that?
build up. I don't know. Why did Kyler Murray delete his social media? Why does anyone?
No. I guess I understand. Like we all get in weird mindsets sometimes, and we do dumb stuff. But like, what was the point of this? If you're going to retire, you were one of the greatest to ever play your position. Like you know that this is not just like a quiet into that good night, as the saying goes. This is a big deal. And it was if he put this on there to be like, ooh, if somebody finds it, then like cool, good for them. But somebody did find it, and then he immediately changed it. And I believe it was his wife tweeted out like, everybody needs to chill, like chill out, relax. It's not what you think it is. So
I think it's exactly what I think it is.
I don't know, man.
I will say this. Okay, so first season that really ends with a season-ending injury. Like he's been relatively healthy his entire career, over 850 snaps every single year until this year. First real season where you saw some decline. Now he's still an elite defensive tackle. Don't get it twisted, but he was not, 109 pressures 2022. 2021, 105 pressures 2020, 40 this year. Like he took a fall from the elite status, the untouchable status, into the just realm of the elite defensive tackles this season. And someone like Aaron Donald, going to be 32 next year, it would not surprise me if he just wants to say, I don't want to go out injured, not the elite player I once was, because at this point there's no skips in his career. He did not have a season that went below expectation whatsoever. Every single year he brought it. So from that perspective, and being an undersized defensive tackle, probably not a guy who's going to age as gracefully as, say, like a Calais Campbell, where you're like the bully, you're the strong guy. Like the strength aspect of the game doesn't go as fast as the quick twitch speed aspect in your 30s. And once you take that away from Aaron Donald, he's kind of just, he's small. He might get injured more often than once that's the case.
Aaron Donald's washed. That's what I heard from Mike Renner right there.
I'm just saying he may.
No, obviously this is on the table. He's thought about it before. He thought about it last year after the Super Bowl. And so, there's plenty of reason. We're seeing this, I think, a little bit more with athletes. They don't feel like they need to absolutely run their bodies into the ground to have a successful career. They believe that they can walk away. Now, as some of the greatest competitors in the world, mentally, can they do that? I think that's a different question. Mm-hmm. Knowing that you've got years left, certainly Tom Brady still playing the game is evidence to that. But anyway, speaking of guys who are walking away, flying away, actually, Cliff Kingsbury. Now, we figured Cliff gets fired in Arizona. It's going to be a hot name, right? I mean, we need the offense. He's got the pedigree, sort of. I guess the renown. People think he does. We knew that he was going to get looks at offensive coordinator around the NFL, and he did. But his response to all those was, I'm unavailable. I'm off-world, if you will. Books a one-way ticket to Thailand. Mm-hmm. He just told his agent, I'm not picking up the phone. What do you think about this? I think this is an absolute power move, Mike.
Yeah, I'm surprised, truthfully, that we don't see more of this in the coaching ranks, that like coaches really do coach until they basically turn themselves into dust for the vast majority of them, that we don't see more guys just in their 40s, still in their prime, hang it up because, I mean, he's got to have somewhere in the neighborhood of $25+ million in the bank. Still going to earn a few more with the extension. Like, he's still going to get all that money that he's getting from the Arizona Cardinals. What does he have to prove at this point? Unless he really wants to be the next Bill Belichick, unless he really has aspirations of being the GOAT head coach, what is there? You have the money. You can do whatever you want at this point. You have generational wealth. I'd go to Thailand too. Shit.
Well, I was just going to ask.
Yeah.
Where would you go? If you were Cliff Kingsbury, where would you buy a one-way ticket?
Turks and Caicos.
Turks? Have you been, is this just like you see pictures on the internet?
I have been to Turks. It's cool. It's small. There's only like 80,000 people on the island. Everybody speaks English. You can spend American dollars.
Oh, that's good.
It's sick.
All right.
See, I'm not a big relax on vacation guy. I can't sit on a beach. That's not my idea of fun. I'd lose my mind. So I'd probably go to Tokyo. I've never been to Tokyo. That'd be fun.
So you're saying like on vacation you always want to be like having adventures, doing things, like walking around, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mike's the guy that builds sandcastles on the beach.
Yeah, I'd build a sandcastle. I did that a lot as a kid. Good call.
Now you just gotta.
I am too. So
you gotta take the shovel. You gotta go full dad mode. Take the shovel and just build a massive hole, and then also like build like the seat, like the bench within the little sand hole that you have there, so everybody can sit in it. And then you think it's cool, and you sit in it for 5 seconds. You go, all right, you want to go and get in the water? And everybody goes, yeah, sure. And you were just like doing that for the last like 6 hours. Your hands are like bleeding from the shovel. But yeah, you got that's who you are. You're that guy. I think I'd go with Saab. I think I'd go with Hawaii. I think Hawaii is probably a destination that I go to.
Yeah, a couple islands to pick from. You know,
you don't like just the
beach,
unplug.
so you could go to Oahu.
You could truly unplug. Oh, by the way, CJ
Stroud just declared. There we go. All right. Top 5 player in PFF's draft board. Likely come off the board, top 10 picks somewhere.
Yeah.
I would imagine in this class.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Smart business decision. Although I don't think returning to school is as dumb as some people were making it out to be. I'll just say that.
Well, he'd have a better receiver at Ohio State than he probably would in the NFL.
I mean, it's probably fun as hell to be a college quarterback compared to a rookie quarterback in the NFL. Your life is probably a lot more fun. And 2, like, developmental-wise, now he's obviously reached, like, the pinnacle of college in terms of, like, production, but a lot of times, the quarterbacks who are hitting the ground running in the NFL, the guys are 3 or 4 year stars at the collegiate level. More often than not. So I do think developmentally there are some arguments to be made for staying in college longer than a lot of guys are nowadays.
Yeah, no, I think that's true too. Certainly, NIL definitely goes into that a lot. This is the last one. We're doing drip or skip at the end of the show. What about rip or skip? Got Mike McDaniel on the sideline, getting a little rip action, and I think that we've got the video here. What I mean, all right, getting a play call in, double checking the sheet.
He's going in the
thinking
pocket.
about the game. There it is.
Now, people are saying that's a vape, but the one time I met Mike McDaniel, he was high as hell. Like, it was at the Combine. I can't confirm this, but more likely than not, I've interacted with a lot of inebriated people over my time.
Yeah.
I think he was high.
Okay.
And that may have very well been marijuana. Avert the eyes. Children at home, look away. Don't ever.
You said that like a daytime soap. Yeah. It may very well have been marijuana.
It was like a 90 is how they described it in like 1995.
I think New York is a legal state, so.
Good to go.
Hey.
Good to go. Sure, in Buffalo, how else are you gonna stay warm? All right. Anyways, let's get into that Dolphins Bills game and so much more as we tell you guys about what mattered most from every single game that we saw during Super Wildcard Weekend so far. Then we'll talk about Bucs Cowboys kind of at the end of it there. Mike, I want to start with Seahawks 49ers, the early game on Saturday. What mattered most for you?
Yeah. See, my takeaway, what I thought. I didn't really go to the extreme of, wow, this 49ers. Like, I wasn't in awe of them. I kind of knew, right, that these playmakers, that this offense was liable to score a lot of points. It's more, hey, this Seahawks defense is bad. Like, the Seahawks got lucky to sneak in the playoffs, and this defense has problems. So I'm not crowning the 49ers just yet. Obviously, Brock Purdy, great. But Seahawks defense, 6th worst EPA per play this season. During the regular season, obviously, got trounced in this one. But it's going to be a little different come this next week. Cowboys are ranked 3rd in EPA per play during the regular season. Bucs are ranked 10th. Obviously, the 49ers are going to face one of those two teams, with the Giants upsetting the Minnesota Vikings. So we'll see then. Well, that'll be Purdy's. If Purdy can put on then, hey, hats off to him. Yep. It's been electric to watch. I want to push back a touch on the people saying Shanahan, just giving all the credit to Shanahan, because, yeah, that's to a degree. He's obviously a mastermind. He schemes a unique offense that's difficult to stop, and more difficult to stop when you have guys like Deebo Samuel, guys like Brandon Ayuk. But I do think there's something to be said for how Brock Purdy runs it, the confidence he plays with for a rookie, and like the pocket presence and the creativity outside the pocket that Jimmy G never had. Plays like that, extending plays that Jimmy G never could do. So I do think that, sure, he's not Tom Brady. Sure, he's not, coming into the league like, this isn't Justin Herbert. He's not joining the Joe Burrow tier. He's not that by any means. But he's a lot better than I think some people are giving him credit for right now.
Yeah, I think that's something it's an underrated factor of what Kyle Shanahan does for his football teams, especially on offense, is the confidence that all of these guys play with, right? I'm watching this past game against the Seahawks, and I'm watching Christian McCaffrey run wild. I'm watching Deebo Samuel run wild, and all the while, whether it's a toss to the outside, whether it's an inside zone, no matter what they're calling, all these guys are blocked up so well. So, and like just the confidence that you have in the guys in front of you, where the ball's going to go. The guys are going to be where they're supposed to be. Like, it just makes each player individually so much more confident in themselves because they have so much confidence within each other. And I think that is an underrated part of what makes Kyle Shanahan such a great coach. Yes, he's a good offensive mind for schemes and where the ball goes, but ultimately it is those players who put the ball where it needs to go, and they do so with so much confidence. For them to go from Jimmy G to Trey Lance to Brock Purdy to all these different quarterbacks he's had over the years, and for all of them to be able to step in, I think that goes to the confidence that he gets to have with his team. My takeaway is that a mistake-free Brock Purdy gets the San Francisco 49ers to the Super Bowl. Are they going to win the Super Bowl? I don't know. But if Purdy plays mistake-free, I think the rest of this team is playing so confidently and well enough to even the Eagles. I look at the Eagles situation, and that's going to be one hell of a game if we end up getting it. San Francisco 49ers versus Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. But I worry about Philly's injuries a little bit. It's going to be a back-and-forth game. But again, even in that game, I look at the type of team that San Francisco's been, the types of players that they have, and I say to myself, if Purdy's mistake-free, I think they come away with it. And I think they're going to represent the NFC again in the Super Bowl. So we will see. It was a little bit of a shaky game from Purdy. I know the numbers, they paint a beautiful picture, but the throw-to-throw film, I think, is a little bit different. It's a little bit more shaky than that. But as long as he's not turning the ball over, I think they're giving their guys a chance. Justin Herbert versus Trevor Lawrence. Chargers versus Jags.
Ooh,
Jags come away with the victory after being down 27-0 at one point in the first half, having a turnover differential of -4 in the first half. They end up winning this game 31-30 in absolute dramatic fashion. Mike, how did they do it, and what mattered most from this game?
What mattered most to me is that anyone putting Justin Herbert in a tier with guys like Joe Burrow, like Patrick Mahomes, like Josh Allen, I'd push back on that. I'd push back on that.
Good man.
And this was Exhibit A. Why? And it's not necessarily a huge, it's not a huge knock on Herbert to say he's not, among the 3 best quarterbacks in the NFL. He's still firmly just outside of that tier. But his tendency to turtle, to turn into to start playing tight, dates all the way back to Oregon. Throughout his entire career there, throughout his career in the NFL, if he doesn't have to push the ball down the football field, if he isn't forced to basically go, put the foot on the gas pedal, he won't. He will take the checkdowns. He will take underneath stuff, and he will allow teams to get back in the game more often than not, unfortunately. It's just not kind of in his DNA of who he is as a quarterback.
How much is that on Lombardi, though?
But that's the thing is, I would be more willing to put a lot of it on Lombardi if it wasn't the same as rookie year, the same at Oregon as well. It's just been a sort of trend for him. Now, the offense multiplies it because it allows him more options to do that. But I do think that is a part of Herbert's game that just Josh Allen never stops going down the football field. Joe Burrow is never going to stop attacking down the football field. Patrick Mahomes, same thing. Those guys are never going to take their foot off the gas pedal when they have 1 touchdown, 2 touchdown lead. They're still going to come for your throat. Justin Herbert, I don't think it's a coincidence that guys like him, guys like Alex Smith, were quarterbacks for some of the biggest comebacks in NFL history because those guys are the ones that can come into a shell a little bit.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the Jags. So before we move on to the Jags, what do we think about Staley? I thought going into this that all of the talk of Staley being on the hot seat really at all whatsoever was silly. That yes, it has not been perfect in Los Angeles. Things needed to get better. Obviously, they had a really rough stretch to start the year, but they finished the year strong. They made it into the playoffs, double-digit wins again for this team. You can't lose that game.
Yeah.
You can't lose that game, especially looking at the fact that they had a massive lead. The way that they did, they destroyed the turnover battle. They could not run the ball in the second half, man. They could not do it. And the problem with Staley is that Staley is known as this coach that's on the cutting edge, right? Lighter boxes, more guys in coverage, passing the ball instead of running it as much. He feels like Staley is the poster child, fair or not, for this against the grain kind of old school feel when it comes to football. Lighter things, faster things, not as many bodies in the box, less physical, rough and tough football. Not to say it's not a tough football team, but you guys know what I'm saying. He just leans on the more side of not running the ball as much, being somebody who passes more, and all that. And like it doesn't bode well for you when all you needed to do was run the ball just a little bit, and that lead would have been insurmountable. And they could not do that. And that's the part that is really, in my opinion, going to hurt him. Maybe hurt him even more than it should. But him being known as that kind of a guy, like somebody who zigs while the rest of the NFL is zagging, when it comes up like this and when you go, all you had to do was run the ball better, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow for this Chargers ownership and decision-making group. Yeah. What do you think?
That one's. I think they retain Staley though. I do.
I do too.
But it has to be said he made some awful coaching decisions.
Yeah.
Not being aggressive, fourth down play calling in this game after, he took it on the chin all offseason for being too aggressive. Obviously being not as aggressive cost him in this one, and then playing Mike Williams last week, like flat out one of the worst coaching decisions to start your starters for the vast majority of that game. And get one hurt. Get your most, maybe probably important starter on offense outside of Justin Herbert hurt, and not have him in this playoff game is just absurd. Was utterly absurd.
What mattered most for me here was Doug Peterson's an unbelievable coach, right? I don't need to say. I feel like I shouldn't need to say that. He's a Super Bowl winning coach. He's got the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. That season, in and of itself, what he did with Philadelphia was incredible. But obviously his time in Philly came to a close. Takes I believe it was just a year off, and then gets back with the Jags. And you look at this Jags team and just how big of a circus it was. A dumpster fire it was last year under Urban Meyer. They get the number 1 overall pick. It's another year of adding certain players. But now they're sitting here in the divisional round, man. Not only did they make the playoffs, they won a playoff game. However you want to say it. This team was down 27-0 in the first quarter. Same old Jags. Just going to be always this way in Jacksonville. 4 turnovers, 4 interceptions from the golden boy, Trevor Lawrence. And yet the way that Doug Peterson has this team thinking, they truly did never give up. That's a cliche that you say all the time in sports, not giving up, like being able to stick with it, being able to pick yourself up, stop momentum, gain momentum yourself. And not many teams can do it. Not many teams have that DNA. Doug Peterson is the type of head coach that has that kind of DNA. When Joey Bosa got that penalty for them to get a little bit closer for the 2-point conversion, and he did not hesitate and he went for it, we're going for this. This is our best opportunity to win. And then, of course, you've got the brilliant run play to the outside from Travis Etienne to get them into field goal range and solidify things. Just brilliant, not only, I think, calling the game from Doug Peterson, but just what he has done in such a short time with this Jags team. The type of turnaround it has been shows that he is an incredible coach.
Oh, 100% agree. And it obviously shows the vast difference that coaching can make from last year to this year, even though roster is well improved as well. But what I love is that down 27-0, they didn't panic in terms of they knew how much time they had to do this. They obviously knew they had to score pretty much every drive, but they did not say we have to score right now, dial up these big plays, go for the jugular, really try to get it all back at once. They were methodical, long drives, intermediate passing drives, even mixed in some runs in some of them, knowing that, hey, if we just handle our job, score every single one from here on out, and our defense holds up, we're still going to be in this game, still have a chance to win this game. So from that perspective, hats off. What a coach performance. What an all-around performance from him, Doug Peterson, and Trevor Lawrence.
Bills, Dolphins, a game that was a lot closer than I think a lot of people thought it was going to be going into this one. Skylar Thompson starts at quarterback for the Dolphins because Tua Tagovailoa couldn't go. Teddy Bridgewater is not either, so they were down to their third quarterback in this one, and it was up until the very end. 34-31 was his final score in Buffalo. Mike, what mattered most from this game?
What mattered most is that there's not a more fun team to watch than Buffalo Bills. This team is electric. With Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, they're liable to hit 60-plus yard touchdowns at any given moment.
Yeah.
They can extend the field. They are in scoring range anywhere they're at. And then also on the other side, you're kind of in scoring range with this Bills banged up secondary anywhere you're at too. But also this defensive line can still get after it, Greg Rousseau and company. I just think you go into a Buffalo Bills game, you're going to see something electric every single time.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy with how this AFC playoff picture shook out. I think this weekend's games are going to be masterclass.
Mine's kind of along the same line because it's hard to have too much of a takeaway from the Dolphins, right? I mean, you've got Tua at the beginning of the season. You're riding high. Tua gets hurt. He's on and off the field. He suffers multiple concussions. I thought Skylar Thompson looked, honestly, for what the expectations were around him, great. I thought he played good. Of course, yeah, the stuff within structure, it's not there for him yet, but he was able to create a little bit when things broke down, and obviously he had them in the game until the very end. So I thought that the defense in Buffalo played the defense for Miami played very well as well, so I want to give them a hat tip. But what matters most is that the boom and bust nature of Josh Allen is going to make this one hell of a ride for Buffalo. And it's going to be to the point where they could have lost to Miami this weekend. They could certainly lose to the Bengals next week. They could lose to the Chiefs the weekend after. Like, this is not, for as high as Buffalo's ceiling is, it just feels like the way they play makes them susceptible to themselves every single week. You look at Josh Allen in the regular season, number 1 in the NFL in big-time throws this year, 43. He's also number 1 in the NFL in turnover-worthy plays at 29. We're one round of the playoffs in, minus one game. But he's first in big-time throws. Seven big-time throws in one game. Also first in turnover-worthy plays, 3. This guy's arm is just, it feels like it's just a loose cannon. And sometimes that cannon goes exactly where it needs to go. And you see all those receiving stats in the receiving column that we saw this weekend of where they can spread the ball, how they can get it deep down the field. And to your point, what makes this Buffalo Bills team really, really fun. But I wonder if I wonder if Ken Dorsey needs to rope him in a little bit here. I wonder if Ken Dorsey needs to kind of just try to rein in Josh Allen. You're shaking your head.
I'm shaking my head.
All right, so is that even possible?
Can't tame a wild horse.
Okay, all right, okay.
That's the beauty of his game. You ride this. You don't rein him in because you're not good enough to rein him in, right? Like if you were fully healthy on the defensive side of the ball, sure, you could. You could say, hey, we can. We're just the better team. You roll into Cincy, you roll into KC, and you say we're just the better roster. That's not the case right now, in my opinion. I think both of those rosters, at least on the defensive side of the ball, are at least comparable, if not better, than yours at the moment. So that you're going to have to go score points. So you're going to have to go hit the high side of variance with Josh Allen to beat, again, Cincinnati, KC, whoever you're going to face, San Francisco, Philly in the Super Bowl. Like, that's going to be a gauntlet.
Tampa, I agree.
So either way, it's going to be a gauntlet to where you better ride that guy. He better be putting up, 34 points.
Sure.
What he did last year in the postseason. It better look like that. You better ride that guy. Because if you're trying to reel him in and play like a tight win with our defense game, I think you're going to be sorely mistaken against their next two opponents.
New York Giants versus the Minnesota Vikings. Giants win this one 31-24 in Minnesota. I saw somebody on Twitter say this for Daniel Jones, calling him Danuary.
Yeah.
Playoff Dan. What'd you think about this one? What mattered most?
Yeah, I think what matters most is that the Vikings were a house of cards defensively. That they have some serious looking in the mirror to do because the record was great this year, but they gave up the second most big plays of any team in the NFL. 20-plus yard gains. 77 on the year. 5 more they allowed on Sunday to a defense that an offense in the New York Giants that all year we've talked about just doesn't generate explosive plays. They just methodically drive down the football field on you, gain chunk, small chunk. In this one, they light them up because they're getting big chunks on this Vikings defense. So, yeah, they have some soul searching to do. Back to the drawing board with this roster on that side of the football because it was not good enough this season to win a Super Bowl.
I'll flip to the other side. I'm going to give praise to the Giants. And I'm somebody who has been skeptical of Daniel Jones all year long. I've been skeptical of Daniel Jones since he was drafted by the New York Giants. That was an awesome game from him yesterday. Plain and simple. Mike, we were sitting there kind of watching it, talking about it, and what Brian Daboll is able to do with this offense, because Daniel Jones is such a weapon with his legs, makes this kind of what feels like a dink and dunk offense at times unstoppable. Almost like you can't cover all of the options that the Giants have. Now, do they have these star wide receivers to push the ball down the field and get these home run hits all the time in the passing game? No. But they have plenty of guys. Darius Slayton, Isaiah Hodgins, Daniel Bellinger, who I called Cody Bellinger last week, and I had somebody called me out on it. Obviously like Saquon Barkley too, right? They've had so many different wide receivers. Kenny Golladay even's out here blocking his ass off. I remember on one play in this past game. And I think it works because they're all put in really great positions to succeed on so many different plays. And what matters most here is the extension woes with Daniel Jones for right now are gone. I think they're gone. You are re-signing Daniel Jones if you're the New York Giants. You cannot look at the performance that he has had this past year, how well he has worked with Brian Daboll, and think to yourself, yeah, Daniel Jones is the problem. Let's get rid of him. I have turned the page on that. I am instead on go get receiving weapons. Continue to make the offensive line a priority. Go get playmakers in the passing game. See what Daniel Jones can do. Because as of right now, they're in the divisional game. They're playing a familiar opponent, the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think I think it could be a damn close game. I don't know if it's going to be. The line's over a touchdown still, but I think it's a little bit disrespectful to the New York Giants. They're a well-coached football team on both sides of the ball. Brian Daboll has done an unbelievable job of orchestrating that offense, getting the most out of Daniel Jones, and he's delivering. I think he's in New York next year under a full extension.
The Giants' offense last year to this year really shows the power of embracing mobile quarterbacks. Really
100%.
Going to bat and utilizing them and giving them the tools to use that athleticism to their advantage. Last year, 298 yards all year long on the ground. This year, 702. Almost over doubles his attempts, well over doubles his designed rushing attempts on the season. Like adding that element to an offense that, basically giving yourself another option when, nothing's there, as he's been far more liable and far more likely to scramble this year than in years past. Like that keeps them on schedule. That ability that he has keeps them on schedule way more than years past and actually sustains drives. So hats off to him. Hats off to Brian Daboll for seeing that, recognizing that, tapping into that, because it's been night and day from years past, this Giants offense.
Yep. And look, to be clear, I'm not saying, you give him a record-breaking deal at quarterback. I'm not saying that you give him the fully guaranteed 5-6-year deal, $250 million. But you go into next year with Daniel Jones, your starting quarterback, especially when you look at the rest of what could be available at quarterback. You're picking far too late in the draft anyways for any of a quarterback that would be worth it. And who else are you going to go get, even of the guys that are going to be available? Rodgers, Brady, paying the money, paying the draft picks to go get these guys, whatever it might be. So it's just, to me, that's a non-story. Daniel Jones is the starter next year for the Giants. Whether you think that he's solid or whether you think that he's better, he's getting an extension, and he deserves it. And from what he had this year and what we saw yesterday. So that was my what matters most. Last one we'll talk about, Ravens-Bengals.
Yes, sir.
Bengals come away with the win. Maybe not as secured and as emphatic as we thought it might be. 24-17, what mattered most here?
Well, I initially wrote what matters most here, that the Bengals, they have so many different ways to win. This was not their A game offensively. I don't even think it was their B game. It might have been their D game offensively. Did not. That's
Ayo.
D, yeah, exactly. My bad. But I will say they can win a defensive football game. We saw that in last year's playoffs. This is what this team is capable of and why they can go on another Super Bowl run like they did last year. So ton of ways to win, but more realistically, what matters most is the health of Jonah Williams' knee. And not saying Jonah Williams is any great shakes at left tackle, but my God, if they're sending out Jack Harmon next week, trouble. That's trouble. They already have multiple backups. What is it, 3 backups along this offensive line already in? I don't know.
Maybe we'll go to Clutch
and
and give him a pep talk this week, because he'll be there.
You going to head down there? Give him a little, tell him he's got to shape up. Yeah, my what matters most, I've talked about it multiple times this season, but since the Bengals are, well, I guess not officially not going to have another home playoff game, because if the Jags win against the Chiefs and then they win, then they would host against the Jags. But it looks like they're not going to be at home again this season. If you go back to December 12th of last year, they are 10-1 at home. The only loss was that wild Steelers game to start the year when Burrow hadn't played for the first time in forever. This team is so legit when they're at home.
Yeah.
Cincinnati is one of the best home field advantages in the NFL. And I just want to one last time give them their props for playing well in Cincinnati, because this was a game when things did not go well for them, right? And yet, you figure it out. You somehow come away with the win. You do whatever it takes, even if it's a wild Sam Hubbard 98-yard fumble recovery to get in the end zone. Like, sometimes when you are at home and you have this energy, you have this confidence behind you, somebody picks somebody up. Whether it's the pass rush that picks up the coverage, whether it's the defense that picks up the offense, whether it's the offense that picks up the defense, whatever it is, great teams that play well at home have some area of the game that's able to pick the others up. And even though it might not be complete, it can be enough to get it done, and you can play well enough there. Cincinnati is becoming, like I said, one of the best home field advantages in the NFL, and I think that that's definitely something to note. What about a best of the rest, Mike? Maybe something that didn't necessarily fit inside a what mattered most, but something that you wanted to give a shout out to as we see all of the games there and the scoreboard.
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to J.K. Dobbins. Obviously fought through injuries to get back. Had said, they highlighted on the broadcast how he said he wanted another surgery because he didn't feel 100% earlier in the season. He looked back. Maybe not 100%, maybe not to his old self, but he was fueling that offense, had himself a fantastic game, deserved better than the outcome with his performance in that one.
Yeah, you could just, even in the quotes after the game, you could just feel it. How much passion and energy he had for it, and how bad that he wanted that game. I want to give a shout out to Gabe Davis and Khalil Shakir. Those three playing the way that they did, and shoot, I mean, I'll throw Dawson Knox in there too. Going back to Buffalo, how much fun this offense can be. That Khalil Shakir catch, where he was just jumping and fully extended for the ball, it just goes to show you the talent that this team has at receiver. And just to echo your point, I didn't know you were going to make this exact point during the game, so a little bit of copying you here, but this team's so much fun. At any point in time, that ball can go 60 yards down the field, and one of 4 different guys can be under it.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that makes this team incredibly dangerous. Maybe that's why, like you said, you don't rein in Josh Allen. You just let him do what he needs to do. You're going to have a lot of fun watching it. So there's only one more game that we have for Super Wildcard Weekend. It is the Cowboys and the Buccaneers. This one's in Tampa Bay. Cowboys' record's a lot better than the Buccaneers' record. Something to note, as of this morning, All-Pro center Ryan Jensen has been activated. He has not played since the beginning of August when...
feels like 2020. Vita Vea coming back too.
From your lips to God's will, my friend. What are you looking forward to seeing in a matchup between the Cowboys and the Buccaneers?
I'm looking forward to seeing Cowboys wide receivers against this Bucs secondary. Week 1, CeeDee Lamb targeted 10 times, 2 catches, 29 yards. Now I think he still gets his. I think he'll get his, but you need options to go to when you're facing this Bucs secondary because they have corners that can take you out of progressions. Like they have good press corners that can actually disrupt your timing at the line of scrimmage. So it's got to be someone else winning routes besides CeeDee Lamb. So that's what I'm going to be looking for is can they basically go match up because that's been, outside CeeDee Lamb, getting a consistent threat in this offense has been difficult on the outside.
Daniel said the matchup that he's looking forward to is Wirfs versus DeMarcus Lawrence or Micah Parsons. I really wonder how often they're even just going to put Parsons against Wirfs. Why would you? Just put him against
I agree,
Smith,
but
I don't know why you'd put him against Wirfs.
I don't think you would. That is the better side, I'll say, Parsons rushes off of. I think he's more natural on the left side than he is the right side, but I don't think it's so much so that I'm going to eliminate him by going against the best pass protecting right tackle in the NFL right now.
Something I'm obviously looking forward to seeing how it plays out in a major matchup in this game is Dak Prescott and the turnovers. Talked a little bit about it with Josh Allen, but Dak, 18 turnover-worthy plays in 12 games this year. 4.2% turnover-worthy play rate is the highest of his career by a lot, by almost a full percent. He had 3 turnover-worthy plays last week versus the Commanders. So he's not even on a good streak. It's not like he's getting that much better. It's been a weird story with Dak this year. I still think that he is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I really do. But there's no doubt he's given the ball to the other team way too much. The interception, the raw interception numbers are high. But even, turnover-worthy plays, it's much more of a context-driven stat. And even those, he's not faring well. He is putting the ball into harm's way. If you give Tom Brady 1 or 2 extra possessions, it's just going to be really hard to beat this Bucs team in Tampa, even for a team that has been very incomplete, it feels like, all year long. So Dak versus turnovers, I know it's an easy one. I feel like it's a low-hanging fruit one, but yeah, that's what I got there.
Yeah, and obviously, his interception numbers are even worse than his turnover-worthy play numbers. He's been on the bad end of some luck as well. Right. So my other one, is just Vita Vea showing up, right? This was a guy who during the Super Bowl run in the Super Bowl was unblockable, that season. 89.9 grade, obviously was injured most of that 2020 season, but 74.4 last year. This year, just a guy. 62.3 overall grade. The game-changing, the play-altering performances, just not there. Can he show up, though? Obviously, kind of the knock on 340-pounders more often than not is inconsistency. But you can get the high end of that inconsistency. If he wants to show up in one game, I still firmly believe that a guy like Vita Vea can. So will he? Is the big question I have against someone like Tyler Biadasz, who's, solid center, but not anyone he should not be able to dominate.
Brady versus time to throw. That's the other point. Will Tom Brady hang in the pocket and take some hits? Because we all know that that's what you need to do in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. You've just got to be able to take those hits. And throughout this entire regular season, Tom Brady, one thing has been very clear. He has not wanted to get hit. Fastest time to throw in the NFL this season. At times it's been ineffectively fast, I think is probably what it is. Sure, you want the ball out quick. It means you're decisive. It means you know where the ball's going. Like all those cool. Sure, you could point to positives, but if it's getting out too quick, receivers can't separate. Like you're not even getting into your route. You're not even really attacking the defense where it's weakest. And Brady just has not wanted to get hit this year. It's the playoffs now. Will he put his body on the line? Will he take some hits? Will he hang in there when he needs to? If he does, I think that Tampa can come away with the victory. We got to get to drip or skip. We're going to go, I think, rapid fire on this one. We got about 10 minutes to get through this, and we got a lot of them because it's playoff edition. You know how it goes. Mike and I, fashion icons that we are, we're going to show you some of these players as they are arriving into the arena, and we're going to tell you whether it's a drip or skip. We want to hear from you guys as well. Could you rock it? Does the player rock it well? All these things are things that we'll talk about. Who do we got first here, Quinn?
A guy that's been on this list quite a bit, Josh Allen.
Oh!
Bills Mafia jacket.
He doesn't miss.
Drip.
He dresses like...
I feel like he's missed a couple of times this year.
No, he dresses like a guy just out of college who's just a fan of the Bills, Like, that's how you would dress if you just graduated from, CUNY Buffalo. What do they say? CUNY Buffalo? Is that even the University of Buffalo? Whatever. You're just a Bills fan. That's how you would dress.
The jacket's sick. Any sort of starter jacket like that, I'm in. So obviously love that. Love the DeMar hat. Love the thumbs up. I mean, just the whole vibe. You're right. This is what Buffalo Bills fans want their quarterback to be like.
Yeah.
So we got to give it a drip.
Drip.
Is anybody giving this a skip?
No, all drips in the chat.
It's got to be all drips in the chat. Because let's face it, nobody's got a higher fashion sense than this. No one watching this show is an elitist enough to be like, actually, it could have done better. This is literally something that we all would wear. We'd all wear this.
Man of the people.
A hoodie underneath, the starter jacket over the hoodie.
Yeah.
It's a drip. All right, who we got next? What do we got next?
Another Buffalo Bill, and another one I think is going to get a lot of drips. The Labatt Blue Crocs on Dawson Knox there.
How can you not love this Bills team? They really play to their city more so than maybe any city or any team in America.
Yeah.
It's great.
Man, I love the duffel bag too. Bag's great.
Drip.
He gave it a drip. You gave it a drip before we even said anything.
No words necessary.
Eli, was that you? Was that you because of the Crocs?
I mean, of course, it's always a drip.
Now he doesn't have them in sport mode, right?
It's a leisure. That looks like a leisurely stroll. You don't need them on sport mode for that.
But you're walking into a playoff game.
But
wouldn't you want them on sport mode?
Nah, I think it's a leisurely mode as you're walking in.
Okay.
If you're crushing Labatt Blues, I don't think that's necessarily I don't think that goes with sport mode.
I love team-issued gear, too. Dawson Knox, I believe he already has a second contract, right? Like, he's well off financially. Just rocking.
The free gear.
The free gear.
Yeah, 100%. 1,000%. Wow, Kyle's saying skip. Jason's
Far
saying
too many skips in chat right now.
George is saying we're skipping.
Labatt Blue, very underrated beer.
I don't know if
Labatt Blue's solid.
I don't know if I've ever had.
I can drink Labatt Blue. It's...
Might need to get in on it.
It's the best.
Okay. All right. What do we got? Who's next?
Kayvon Thibodeau.
Oh, this is the pajamas, right?
Yeah, Jamie's in the top hat.
Dude. I gotta go skip.
I gotta go skip. Kayvon Thibodeau, man.
I gotta go skip.
He's...
You know what? He's marched to the Beaver's own drum. And I gotta give him his respect for that. But it looks like... Here, you know what my biggest issue with this look is? the jammies are wrinkled.
Yeah.
Like, they look wrinkled.
Gotta press those.
Yeah, come on.
I'm gonna go Skip as well.
Yeah,
and I have a take on Thibodeau that I've been sitting on after he had that weird ass interview after the Nick Foles thing, where he was doing the snow angel. But you know how in the pre-draft, everyone's like, falling down boards, character concerns. He's off some teams' boards. I think when we hear character concerns, we assume it's like he's liable to be Antonio Brown. Sometimes it's just like, I don't want to have to deal with the guy because he's going to be in your locker room. It's like, I don't want to have to just interact with this. Like, his personality's just fucking weird, dude. Like, I don't want to have to coach this guy, sort of thing that some teams might have him off their draft board. You have a top 5 pick. It's a guy you're going to be stuck with the next decade. Do you want to be hanging out with Kayvon Thibodeau? That's a question these guys are probably more asking themselves rather than like actual character concerns when that comes out.
Look, never met the man, never been in a locker room with the man. All I can say though is, as an outsider, if you're getting multiple sacks a game, you can wear jammies if you want. You can wear jammies in the bling if you want. You can wear the top hat if you want. So but Kayvon is clearly Kayvon is his own dude, and I think that at least he rocks it with confidence. So go on, Kayvon Thibodeau, go off. I couldn't do it. We're giving it a skip. But go off. All right, who we got next?
I like this next one. It's Travis Etienne.
It's clean. He looks like this is like music video.
I was gonna say that looks like 2004, right?
Yeah.
Like
maybe that's where my mind went. I immediately went to like MTV.
Yeah. He's oh god.
This game was in Jacksonville, by the way, and he looks like he's dressed for Buffalo,
that's like what
New York.
Puff Daddy would wear in a Bad Boys video.
That's a drip.
That's a drip.
I mean, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Do you see the chain, the E and the T?
Ooh, that is a sick chain.
That is sick. Again, I can't do the different glasses, but I'm just not a different glasses guy.
Yeah, that's trip. And Etienne backed it up, man. He's fucking sick.
He did. Who's next?
All right, these next few are going to get interesting. We got Marcus Peters up.
Oh my god. So wait. Who did we have on here last week that was wearing this exact same thing, but the flowers or the shapes were yellow?
Well, we might have.
Hang tight.
I was going to say we might have more. Stay tuned.
That's a hard skip.
Okay.
And then the chunky soul.
I can't. Yeah, I can't rock with any of this.
Oh, and that cost a lot. That's not like off the rack.
Daniel saying immediate drip. Ravens.
Definitely no bias there.
Daniel saying Peter's goated. Kyle saying this is ludicrous drip. Oh man, I can't do it, man. I just can't do it. I gotta give him a skip. Who's next?
One of the worst we've seen.
His counterpart on the other side, Eli Apple.
There we go.
Same goddamn thing. Same shoes and everything.
What? Okay. What? Hold on.
Flood.
What is this? Because somebody was wearing
know.
this exact same thing last week. What are you looking up?
Yeah,
what
really
are you Googling?
I'm
too.
looking up flowers pattern Eli Apple.
It's a whole outfit.
Yeah, you're right.
This is a very old man moment for me because I feel like if I was like a decade younger, I would know exactly where this trend came from.
Somebody please tell us. I'm McQuinn. I feel so old right now.
I mean, I'm laughing because on his chest, it almost looks like a Carhartt logo, but I know damn well that's not Carhartt. But doesn't it almost look like Carhartt? Oh, he's covered up with Skip.
I don't know what that is. I can't do it. I can't do it. We've got to get to the bottom of this. We just had two outfits from two different players on two different teams go back to back, and it's the same fit. It's just different colors.
He looks like
we got to get to the bottom of this.
Powers would hit
somebody, please, in the chat, help us out. Happy day skip trip. All right, what's next?
No flowers, but another interesting fit here from T. Higgins.
Okay.
Ooh.
So the mask look with the sunglasses is.
I like this.
Dude, this is drip.
Yeah.
This is drip. Again, could I pull it off? Never.
Yeah.
But
that's true.
T's better than me at everything.
That's good. That's a fit.
So I think this is a fit. I like it.
I really like that jacket.
That is a sick jacket. I would love to try to Google where this is from, but it might be, my monthly mortgage.
Oh yeah, all of that is.
Because these guys just live in a different tax bracket. This is drip.
Balaclava is going to be cost you.
Phillips giving it a skip. Michael's giving it a skip. You guys, Kyle's giving it a big skip. Come on. They're saying the chat's saying that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was the other one who had like the flower fit that we were doing the other day.
That's it.
Oh, man,
Good poll.
We got to figure out where that's from. All right, was that the last one, or we got one more?
No, we got a couple more.
Okay.
Guy that I kind of called out last week, Pete Carroll.
Let's go, Pete. Drip. It's old man drip. Now, the only problem here is I wish the sneakers were, classic white New Balances. Just like the classic dad grilling out.
New Balance. That makes so much sense.
Nah, the Air Monarchs, the Nike Air Monarchs, those are like the classic dad shoes.
What are the Air Monarchs?
Great.
Nike.
Those are probably like Allbirds, though. Those are definitely a comfortable walking shoe.
Dude, the Air Monarchs.
Yeah, the Air Monarchs are. They're the same.
I would have loved to see that. I'm going to buy a pair of Air Monarchs just to grill. And I'm going to be like, all right, we're throwing burgers on, and I'm just going to throw on the Air Monarchs.
I will say, points down for not having a matching suitcase bag combo.
It's kind of close. Come on.
He's probably had that same luggage for like 25
I was just going to say that.
Come on. We're giving him a drip. What's next?
We got Geno Smith, another guy that's been on this list quite a bit.
Easy drip.
Geno knows. Although those shoes are really not doing it for me.
I don't love the shoes.
Shoes look like a clown shoes almost.
You know what I would have loved to see here? Some black loafers.
Just not those. They draw your eye too much. The bags.
But it's
enough.
raining, so loafers.
Everything outside the shoes is wet.
Literally, it's raining.
Literally.
Yeah. No, I love it though. I love it. We're giving this one an easy drip. Maybe a different shoe choice, but I do agree with the easy drip. All right, what's next?
All right, last one. This is Robert Hunt.
Ooh, big man. Oh!
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how you embrace.
Yeah, baby. That's it right there. That looks like, is that linen on linen?
I don't know. The only beef I got with this one, though, is like, if this game was in Miami, that's perfect.
Yes.
If this was in Buffalo. It's a little.
Yeah, but
it's not
but you gotta bring Miami to Buffalo.
I like that point.
This looks like it's linen on linen.
Although, what's going on? Are there like,
I don't know what the wires are.
Strings coming off?
Not sure what the wires are.
Does he have 5 headphones on?
I do.
He's just got a bunch stuck in his ears.
I love the big.
It's sick, though.
I love the big dude with the shirt popped open.
Yes,
just showing it off.
It's a great big
chain look there. Yeah, Robert Hunt. Well done there. All right, that was Dripper Skip for us. Got a couple more minutes left in the show. Early round divisional lines?
Mm-hmm.
Not solidified yet because we don't know who's going to play the 49ers, either the Cowboys or the Buccaneers. But we've got some early lines out already. Any early lines that you like?
I like the over as the Jags travel to Kansas City to face the Chiefs.
Ooh.
51.5.
51.5.
I just think that game just screams QB shootout. 2 QBs, 2 elite, shall we say, QBs going up against each other head-to-head in the playoffs.
Elite? Trevor Lawrence?
We're putting them there. After that second half, 2 elite QBs facing off against each other is going to be more than 26 points apiece.
I'm not there yet. I'm going to go with the New York Giants. Getting 7.5 against the Philadelphia Eagles. I just think this Giants team's too good. I think this Giants team is too good. I think Brian Daboll is too good of a head coach. I think Wink Martindale's too good of a head coach. I think they're playing really well right now. Philly, obviously good, coming off a week of rest, but sometimes that can lead to a little bit of a slow start, right? Give me the Giants getting a little bit more than a touchdown. I'm very confident.
That's a big line for the unknown about Jalen Hurts' shoulder,
right.
The unknown about Lane Johnson at right tackle.
Yep.
And just the fact that it's the third time around. Seeing a team. The more you see a team, the more it's just like almost evens the playing field.
I agree.
So
I completely agree. What is the answer to our question of the day? It was in reference to Sam Hubbard's 98-yard fumble return for a touchdown last night. What is the longest play, I was about to say from scrimmage, but it was ever recorded in the postseason? We thought it was James Harrison, right, with the fumble.
Scrimmage. But I guess if there's kick returns.
But if there's kick returns, then it would be Jacoby Jones, is what the chat was saying.
I'm trying to think of like longer, maybe like pick returns or. Because obviously, as entire playoffs, I was just thinking Super Bowls was what I was going back and thinking. I don't know. What is it?
What do we got?
Chat got it. Jacoby Jones.
It is. There we go.
Jacoby
That
Jones.
108-yard kick
108.
return.
Well done, chat.
Good
Do we
job,
have
Jacoby.
a chat champ? Did anybody have it first?
Yeah, I don't. It's not related to question of the day. It's
Okay.
just Matt Jeffries. After the T. Higgins fit, he said Sully wants his fur back, referring to his ski mask thing. So you make me laugh, you win chat champ. So
That was well done.
Shout out Monsters Inc. Elite movie. Congratulations, Matt, on being chat champ. Thanks everybody who watched the show live, got in on the show live, got in on your playoff takes from what we saw this past weekend. We're still going to be having a somewhat regular week, even though there's not as many games played. We're going to have Dogs of the Week. We're going to have trivia. We're going to have NFL draft segments, all that good stuff, of course. I am Trevor Sikkema. That is Mike Renner. For everybody in the production portal, thank you guys for so much for watching It's Just Football. We'll be back right here, same time, 11 a.m. tomorrow. See you guys then.
It's not about politics, it's about football.
This is a simple game.
We're going to run the ball, and we're going to pass the ball. We just going to play football, really.
How good of a football player are you?
Not just get in and try to spin it. That's all.
I just love the game.
It really is the best time of the year.